Hello everyone, welcome. I've got a bunch of players in the background that you won't be able to hear right now, so laughs hilariously for no reason. Welcome everyone. We're getting started in just a moment. So settle on in. Join us and this well-produced, he says sarcastically, show. With me here are a bunch of people that are going to talk while I pull out the things I was supposed to do, like dice and a player sheet.
What's up?
Hey,
Maybe heard?
This is where you guys talk. Go, 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 go.
Oh, we're supposed to be talking.
Hello, everybody. This is
We
the
are-
first time appearance for me on this shuttle, and I hope you all are gonna have a fine time for me.
Yeah, we are. If you guys don't know, we are super professional streamers that we are totally know what we are doing. So yeah,
It's not like I appear in scuffed dreams at all.
I always know what I'm doing, right?
I believe
Right?
so.
Yeah, I think so.
You're the one that writes the
Yeah.
script for all this.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
I need to
okay.
get out my violet book over here for a second.
We should probably give some introductions though for all of us.
Right,
real
so,
quick, I guess.
We'll start this off with the easiest one, because if you're here, you know me, and if you're not here because you know me, you probably know one of the other folks here. Hi, my name is Ahdurin, the real world name is Ahdurin. I run all the content stuff in the universe, much to my schedule's chagrin. That's me. You might know me from such publications as Not a Scratch, a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon TTRPG actual play podcast, Operation E-Clock, which is a various other Pokemon Legend Zelda combo podcast that didn't release an episode because of Finals Week. You might know me from this very YouTube channel where I've amassed 1.2k subscribers by playing through Mystery Dungeon in the dumbest ways possible. And if you know me from some other place, you have to remind me because I don't know what those are. With me here are people that are better than me. Go.
Definitely not better, but you know, we work together, so that's fine. Real quick though, looks like we got a notification in the chat that says volume is a bit low. Not sure if that's been addressed, but
Whose volume then? Could you
Yeah.
let us know?
but
I could try to listen myself. Actually, that might not be a terrible idea. Would
While
you let me
it's
know?
happening-
Yeah. Let me know whose volume is high, low, left, right.
I'll
Great
introduce
backwards.
myself. I am Daisy. I also am part of Not a Scratch, so you might have heard me there. I am recently joining on, what is it, the 6th arc that we've got?
This is the 6th season. Yes.
Yeah. 6th season. And I do podcast stuff. I am more in the realm of the tabletop game things, so like tabletop role-playing games, whatnot. That is my specialty. Why I'm here today, I guess. And yeah, that's me. If you don't know me, that's okay. Hopefully you will by the end of this.
I've boosted it up. I know
As
why.
I said earlier, this
what?
is probably my first time here. Hello, everyone. You may call me for this adventure Mochi, but for these players' characters, you will see who I'm gonna play. And to my top left, we have a guy who has been known as a Typhlosion and Zangoose at once? Weird.
close enough. It was a Sangus in Asleep. But yeah, hi, my name is Fran, but I also go on the internet as Magician Tronic. I've been a guest on Not Scratch as well, in one of those mini arcs guest episodes. So you might know me from there, you might know me from other places on the Discord or internet or whatever. I used to stream as well for a time bit, and I'm planning to come back for it later as well. But yeah, I'm here to be playing as one of the characters as well, and I'm super excited to do it. And here on the script said that I don't know if I keep stalling or not.
I think we have the volume good.
We'll
I know
see.
why.
Time
yeah.
can always be
See.
stalling, but I
Time
think
can
we can
always-
kind of just talk until we're interrupted again.
Mhm.
Oh, I forgot. Hey, for people that
Oh,
are
no.
listening to the live stream,
I'll probably be
I'm
talking a lot.
unmuted.
Eventually,
Can
you'll
you-
see what's going on.
Sorry, I've been
Daisy,
talking.
why
I was talking to the live stream folks and not to you people because I had it muted. Hey,
Oh,
what's up? What's happened? All right, let's do that.
We were just introducing myself, and I
Yeah.
just missed the time closure for for the dust leaf.
yeah.
They're all the
no,
same
it's
at the
okay,
end of
don't
the day.
worry about it.
Pokemon are Pokemon. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Wait, am I species?
You can go down that rabbit hole.
Uh.
Okay, cool. So welcome to the charity stream, everyone. If you are watching this right now, even after the fact, actually, what you can do is check at any point in time, especially when the game is going on, there is a QR code that will pop up, which will be, you'll see that momentarily, where you can use that. Or if you're listening to this right now, you can check the description of this episode. It'll go to the campaign, or you can either go to the campaign URL to check out the whole campaign, or the donation URL to go specifically to the donation section, where you can donate various dollar amounts to impact the story. Like most of the other stuff I've done in the past, this is not only a thankmas event, so shout out to the people that run thankmas, but this is also an event where you can benefit or hurt the players. So you can help them out, you can cause more obstacles to come in their way, and chiefly that's up to you. An important thing to note, and this is specifically for the people that are here now and later on, the different reward amounts, there aren't a lot of them right now. They will probably be added to as time goes on, depending on how the story goes, and the dollar amounts right now are not set in stone. So I will say this, they will not get lower, they may go higher. So if you want to donate and make an impact, I would recommend doing that early. Is this me trying to persuade you to donate towards a good cause? Yes. Is this potentially fraudulent? TBD. But the biggest things, we'll get into the actual impact story-wise at the very least, but again, you can check that out. Or, I believe, if you don't want to, I think there is an option where you can just donate to donate without any benefits whatsoever, in which case, thank you very much for that. There are various milestones as well. None of them are actually posted because I probably should have done that in advance, but and there are various different benefits, things like that, depending on where you're watching and why you're watching. If you're a YouTube listener, there are various different milestones that will reach that depending on the dollar amount. We'll be releasing new series or different series, special challenge runs, very, very annoying challenge runs. I have an idea in mind that I do not want to do, but I will put that down as a milestone thing. If you're not a Scratch listener, there's a special little secret milestone thing that I need to put a dollar amount on, but doing that will reveal a project that I've been working on behind the scenes, among other things as well. So all of that is available, that are here as well. If you have any, if I am unlike, I don't know, this is unlike other people, I am very open to ideas. So if you're like, hey, this is a cool idea that I'd like to introduce as a donation option or a milestone thing, please feel free to toss it into the chat. I'm going through this. Daisy's popping in as well. The players might be popping into the chat. I might, I know my other co-host on Not a Scratch, Mohammed's here. I might drag him into this if you know, without his permission, if things get really busy, among other things as well. So, and another thing as well, final thing before I transition over to the GM for now, Daisy, who's the first person that spoke after me. The final thing is that if you can, if you'd like, if you're able to, please promote this stream. I don't need subscriptions to the YouTube channel. They'd be nice, but I don't need them. I don't need memberships to the channel. It'd be nice, but I don't need them. What I do want, though, are people watching this and donating. So if you could go and politely disturb everybody, I would greatly appreciate it. Because the more people that watch this, the more people that could donate, the more it goes towards a good cause. Already Thankmas, the big day for Thankmas has already passed. But that doesn't mean we can't add some more dollar amounts to it as well. I believe Thankmas, as of this point, has raised nearly, it's at 6.299 million right now. And if we are on pace with what we've done in previous years, we can bump that up so that we can be the ones that say it's 6.3 million, because it's about $750 off. I've raised $750 in these type of events in the past. The only difference is it took me 14 hours then. I'm hoping it'll take less time now. If you have any questions, anything you'd like to ask, you can toss into the chat. I'm viewing, and among other people as well. And I think with that, I will hand it over to Daisy. Please steer the ship better than I can. Also, like the stream. Yeah, do that.
Right.
Hey, that no pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, absolutely
Better,
no pressure.
better than you. I don't know about that, but
Okay,
we
don't
will
take
see.
don't take a sharp turn to the right for no reason.
All right, then we'll take 3 left turns.
Oh.
Very
Actually, never mind.
slowly.
Strike that. I'm running this now. Daisy, get out.
All right.
Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so hopefully this will not be absolutely chaotic, but I embrace the chaos as well. As Anirudh said, I am going to be the GM for this game, so I will give us a little bit of a backstory, just kind of like an introduction to what this is. If you didn't already know, we are going to be following a plotline similar to the Pokemon Ranger games. So that's the other most popular offshoot game of Pokemon, aside from Mystery Dungeon, I feel like. Maybe in my opinion only, though.
It's okay.
It's
But
yeah.
we're going to be playing as Pokemon Rangers, who are essentially a group of people who kind of like protect Pokemon, protect nature, and try and keep that from being harmed. Pokemon Rangers don't catch Pokemon in the way that normal trainers might with Pokeballs. We use our friendship, and we use magical or technological devices called capture stylers to embrace that power, to use our friendship to make Pokemon help us or ask Pokemon to help us. So we will get to see some of that as we play. The location we're going to be at is called Ahdurin Island. It is a location in a region of my creation called the Corette region. And Ahdurin Island is known for its strange fairy-type properties. There's, for some reason, a lot of just like fairy-type aura, we'll call it, coming out of the island. Some people have figured out how to harness that to create energy, and have created some like almost nuclear-esque power plants to generate some energy, because fairy types are quite electric, if we might say. But that'll be the setting of our game. It is an island off of the coast of the Corette region, so it is a bit isolated. There's a lot of fairy energy that people don't really know what's going on. And our Pokemon Rangers are probably going to get into some shenanigans trying to save the day. So, let's see. Anirudh, to start, should we introduce characters, or do you have the map to throw up on the screen?
Let's throw the map up, actually. Let me hope this works. Hey guys, can you tell that I planned this all immediately after finals? Because that's kind of what I... actually, no, I'm not. I'm lying. I contributed everything after finals. Daisy ran basically everything else. Let me toss that over there.
I just wrote some things down.
That should be it there. Ignore the fact that there's the whole Ahdurin region thingy thing there, and ignore the fact that I'm using Microsoft Edge. It's required for me to make this work. Otherwise, Otherwise, you'd be seeing my other screens, which don't exist. Here's the map, though. You can see it.
Nice.
Perfect. Yeah. So, the map is as shows. We have our island. It's got some mountains. It's got some forests. But mostly it is all just there. And you'll see some things called clocks. That is because we are using a game system called Blades in the Dark. Traditionally, it is a game about people taking on heists, but we're going to change it to Pokemon Rangers. So the tone may shift a little, but we'll hopefully keep it light enough tone. And these clocks are important because that is how things get done. That is the main way that people affect the game. We're going to start off by introducing some characters. So, let's go. Mochi, would you like to introduce your character first? I'll set the scene a little bit, and you can kind of show us how your character is acting immediately in the scene as you explain. But you're all part of a Pokemon Ranger crew on Yurmine Island, and you've been sent off to do a mission. So we see you running through the forest, but there is some smoke in the air, and you can feel some heat. Why don't you go ahead and introduce us to your character?
As he runs down, he just essentially places his pinky finger on his ear, just trying to signal, like, Colonel! I feel some heat coming in. I might need to request a backup.
And who is your character? What is your character's name? And every ranger has a Pokemon companion. Do you happen to have an idea of who your Pokemon companion is?
My character is known as Serpent, and his companion is a Kecleon named Solid.
Oh boy.
Okay.
You notice.
Serpent and Solid. We have on the way through the forest, calling for some backup as things heat up and get a little smoky. So next to you is another character. Fran, will you introduce your character to the group? You can again tell us a little bit about how you look, how you're moving, what your actions are, and your partner Pokemon with you.
So yeah, my character is called Franklin Ronda. He's tall. He looks tall, very thin, and he has a medium length wavy orange hair. He's currently wearing some shades and a bandana that is covering most of his face. And he has a partner called Mantra that it's a Gallade. And right now he is sensing that it's like smoke coming from a direction, and he's trying to figure out how close the fire is, and like how big the dimension is of the fire is currently going for.
Yeah, so we see Franklin and Gallade, Mantra the Gallade, kind of on the way through the forest, and Franklin is trying to get an idea of this fire, and you can tell that Mantra is connected with you as as you kind of just get like a psychic signal back. That's oh gosh, how would Mantra talk to you? I think the response you would get is just like there's Pokemon fleeing. So
Okay.
the fire is not like big enough yet that it is a drastic consequence. On our clocks, we see that the clock of the forest is burning is at 2 of 6. But there is definitely enough for the Pokemon in the forest to feel scared enough to try and flee. And then, Ahdurin, would you like to introduce a character of your own who may be running next to Franklin and Serpent?
If I say no, what would happen?
Then I would say, all right, let's move on.
Oh, see. Now you have to deal with me as a player. How about that? Yes.
I can deal.
That's not the right thing at all. Yes. So, I think what you have is you see a taller guy that looks like his outfit. It's a normal ranger's outfit, but it's been purposely left ripped up on purpose. They could have sewn it back together, like the sleeves and stuff, but he decided not to. And rushing out is my character, who is trying to figure out where I wrote this stuff. Here we go. Because I have to have every character start with the letter A, and I really like the name. This is Aaron that comes out, spelled like double A. That comes out again, like sleeves are cut, they're still hanging on, but he's just refused not to actually keep it, like you sew it back together or rip it off. He's decided on this neither pattern. And you want Pokemon partner as well, right?
Yeah, who's by your side?
I think to completely flip from this specific rough and tough exterior, the guy's got an Igglybuff bouncing on his head.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
So I think
Igglybuff.
He rushes out of the forest just with the standard gruff voice that you think of when you think of this type of guy. Of just, it's another forest fire. Buffy, this ain't it, is it?
Igglybuff.
I can't do the Igglybuff voice. I used to be able to, but no longer.
See, that kind of works too, because there's a variant type of the Jigglypuff line in this region that also has a little bit of fighting type in it. So
That
I
is
don't know
true,
if your Igglybuff is one of those variants or if it's just regular.
You'd have to remind me, in your region, is that determined? Would you know that in advance, or is it like a far-fetched situation of maybe it is, maybe it isn't?
It would be fine either way. I think you could be able to tell. Maybe
I don't know if Igglybuff
an
knows
Iggly
that.
gruff.
I think just for the humorous factor, it's just a regular Igglybuff that just really vibes with this. He gives off 45-year-old divorced dad vibes of just, oh man, I'm just done with this. I don't think
Aaron
he is.
Or the Igglybuff?
Aaron, probably. Maybe the Igglybuff as well, but definitely Aaron. We don't get into Igglybuff's backstory. It's a long, detailed history of stuff that, for time purposes, and also because it's not real, we're not going to discuss it.
That'll be what we find out at the end of the game.
That's the real plot twist right there.
Igglybuff is the real villain.
I can see that. Knowing you, I can see that.
Okay, so to get a sense of kind of where we are right now, I'm going to show us on the map. We're running through a forest. We have a forest fire. I'm going to ping on Roll20. Hopefully it'll pop up on the stream too. That is where we came from. That is where our ranger station is. That is called Radiant City. It's kind of like the largest city on Yuramine Island, port town, where most things come in and out. It's that big pink dot in the center near that large bay. We are going to be running, or we are running through the forest up to the northwest a bit, down this little peninsula thing. That is making our way through what is called the Florges Forest. Or would be if it wasn't on fire at the moment. You were given a mission from base. And I believe, did we say Aaron was going to be a ranger boss, or is Aaron just a regular ranger en route?
I don't know if we officially determined anything. Maybe he's a veteran, I suppose.
Okay, so you've been around for a while. The three of you, though, remember just moments ago before you ran out that your mission was to find what happened, find the source of the forest fire, and save any Pokemon you can. If you can put out the fire, if it gets too much, that's great. But the important thing is we find how it started, and saving anything we can, saving any Pokemon. So, our three rangers, partners by their side, stylers in their hand. What is the action here? How are we trying to address this obstacle? Our mission of finding the source of the fire and dealing with the burning forest, that is. It's very hot where you are, so things are risky. Doing actions is going to give the potential of getting hurt, getting burnt. But how are we addressing it? In Blades in the Dark, you have the ability to kind of freely try different approaches to solve this problem. So, does anybody have an idea of where to start? How they might think about this mission?
I do have an idea if I may start.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What is Franklin doing?
So, Franklin, I forgot to add that his Pokemon Ranger stylus is like a huge cane that has a lot of like runes in guard on it, and he's trying to maybe closer his normal senses and try to figure out like where could the focus of the fire would be with the help
Okay.
of his Khalid.
So you're trying to figure out where the source might
Yeah.
be in that way.
Yeah.
How are you trying to do that? So you have different
Yeah.
actions in front of
Mhm.
you that you, as the player, get to decide what you're doing. After that, I'll tell you how it might work, how it might affect.
I want to use my attune for that specifically. So I
Okay.
may go around like the smoke and anything like that, so I have like a much more clear.
So
It
what
does.
specifically are you trying to attune with? Are you trying to attune with Mantra, who is like maybe has a wider range of senses? Are you trying to attune with like Pokemon who might be fleeing the area? Like what being or
Yeah.
thing are you trying to attune with?
So
there?
what I'm trying to do basically is Mantra and I have been trying to use different aura mechanics. So what I'm trying to do is like focus like on any kind of aura that could be like trying to maybe like being like, I don't know, like rampage or anything like that it's contrasting with all the Pokemon fleeing, so we can like figure out how the fire has started.
Yeah, okay. So in Blades in the Dark, when a player takes an action, they state which action they're doing. You have said you want to attune.
Yeah.
Now, as the GM, I will set what is called position and effect. Position describes the situation that you're in. It describes how dangerous it might be to do this. effect describes how effective you and your action will be on the obstacle.
Okay, yeah.
As I stated before, with this fire here, I think we are in a risky position, which means risky is kind of like the regular thought for rangers, because you're always putting yourself out there. You're always trying to get something done, so there's always a possibility of danger. So it's definitely risky.
Okay.
With your attune, I think the effect might be limited because you are trying to gather a large area.
Okay.
You have been training your aura powers and training your powers with mantra, but you are still kind of like pushing to your limits. So you'll definitely be able to do it. You'll definitely be able to roll, but the effect would be limited.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Just to help us go into a certain direction that works for me.
Okay. So for your roll, how many dots do you have on your attune
I
action?
have 2 dots.
Okay. That means you can take 2d6 and roll 2d6. And we see the result.
Okay, I got the highest is a 5.
The highest is a 5. Perfect. So that means you do it, but there is a consequence.
Okay.
You might suffer harm, a complication might occur, or you might have reduced effect. I don't think you'll have reduced effect because you already had limited, but I think a complication occurs. You start to get a sense of where things are coming in and out. It takes a little bit of time. You connect with mantra, and mantra is searching out as well. But you notice a few things. First thing you notice is that you can sense some Pokemon, of course. There. Oop, what? I'm on the wrong layer there. Hold on a second. There we go. So you sense there are some Pokemon fleeing. You kind of have a certain direction that you're coming from, and you start to get that idea that's where they're going. But there's a lot of other things that you sense as well. You see that mantra senses some things that aren't Pokemon either, and they're a little bit more scattered out, going towards or away from different areas. So you have a bit of an idea of where Pokemon are coming from, but there's also this other complication, this other thought happening.
Okay, are those things more like live beings, or are other live beings that are in Pokemon, or?
Yeah, I think you could intuit that it might be people coming around, but you're unsure who they are, what they're doing, but they're on the way.
Okay.
And as that is happening, what is Aaron or Serpent doing to try and address it?
I think Serpent and Solid just sees that Franklin and their partner is just doing things spiritually, so they are going to use what they know best to prowl and survey the area to see if the Pokemon are clearly coming from a direction physically.
Okay.
By footprints, or by just seeing a bunch of Rattatas just running from somewhere.
So I'll ask for a clarification on what action you are choosing, because you said both prowl and survey. Are you trying to prowl, which is move about unseen, traverse obstacles, climb, swim, run, jump, and tumble? Or are you trying to survey? You're trying to survey a location or situation to understand what's going on. sense trouble before it happens, gather information,
Survive.
etc. Okay. So, once again, I think our position is going to be risky. There's still fire going. That hasn't changed. But I think your effect will be standard. So, risky standard roll. How many points do you have in your survey?
1.
1? Okay. So, your options are roll 1 dice to see if you can succeed. You can add an extra dice if you want to do something called pushing yourself, which is drawing on an extra reserve of energy. You would drain some stamina for that to gain an extra dice. Or somebody could potentially assist you. Would you like to just roll your 1? Would you like to push yourself? Or do you want to ask for some assistance in this?
Do either you wanna assist Serpent in his action?
How would the assist work in this regard? What, would we just add
So,
the die in lieu of our turn?
there's not necessarily strict turns here. It's more of just as things flow. But if you wanted to assist, you could mark down 2 of your stamina, what we're calling stamina, which is stress and Blades in the Dark, to give +1 dice to that teammate. So if you were gonna help Solid, or not Solid, if you were gonna help Serpent here, and Solid, I guess, you would describe what you're doing to assist that. You would take you'd mark off 1 of your stamina, and you would add +1 dice to Serpent's roll.
Could you, Serpent, remind me exactly what you're doing? Because I'm leaning towards assisting here.
He is trying to essentially survey the area to see if a Pokemon is going somewhere or from somewhere. Like, the trains are just, as I said, a bunch of Rattatas just running from somewhere.
Yeah, I think I would probably I think I would assist as well. I think as someone that's been through this for a while, I think I just hop on by. I almost probably, not literally, but sort of emotionally chuck Igglybuff at you, being like, here, take this. This guy knows what he's doing.
Buff?
Yeah, you got this. And try to assist with that. So kind of just giving up Igglybuff in a way to assist with the surveying of the Pokemon here.
Okay, so
Thank you, Colonel.
Igglybuff is adding in the assist then, or are you giving Igglybuff over to do something yourself?
Igglybuff isn't a separate character, right? It's sort of an extension of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I'll probably walk up to a Serpent and literally take Igglybuff off my head. Igglybuff still holding onto a hat that I wear or something, and just be like, here.
Thank you, Colonel.
Yeah.
You're off. Great assistance.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, I better have Igglybuff back in one piece. If I see so much as a hair slightly off, I'm coming after the enemy, and then I'm coming after you. But so you better fix the hair
I
in that time.
understand.
I think Igglybuff in that time period is debating like, if I mess up my hair, would that cause the same issue?
I was gonna say, does Igglybuff take a hand and just like tousle its own hair
Just like
right
toss like
now?
hair.
Or take
Oh
one
no,
single hair?
tragedy.
How could this happen? Okay, so you do that, and then Serpent, that means you get to roll +2. So, or not +2, but 2 dice. So go ahead and roll 2 6-sided dice and take the highest result.
Oh no.
Bruh!
You done messed up
okay.
my Igglybuff, didn't you?
So it was only risky, so it's not dangerous. Well, it's not desperate consequences, but you rolled a 1 and a 3. On a 1 to 3, things go badly. you suffer harm, a complication occurs, you end up in a desperate position, you lose this opportunity. So I think what happens here is you start searching around and you hear, hold on, let me see if I can get this. Crash as a burning log drops behind you and kind of blocks your path to the rest of your crew right now. The forest is burning a lot. I had ticked it up 1 for time previously, but your consequence here is going to be ticking that up by 1. And I'm going to ask you to mark off the level 1 harm singed. So instead of HP or like health in Blades in the Dark, your kind of damage system is called harm. You keep track of it on your sheet, and they're sort of like adjectives to describe how you're affected. So on your sheet, if you want to mark off one of those 2 level 1 harm boxes, or just mark in singed.
Oh.
That means anytime you're going to try and do an action that might affect, being singed might hurt as that fire kind of like brushes up against your back, you will have less of an effect. You do have the option right now, though, to do what's called a resist. Anytime the GM poses a consequence to you, you can roll to resist that consequence. You would end up negating the harm that you just got by pushing yourself, using your stamina to get out of the way. Do you want to take the harm, or do you want to resist?
How much do I roll to resist?
If you were to resist, I would say that you are probably trying to dodge out of the way. So this would be a prowess resist. You're resisting with your prowess. You would roll 2 dice, take the higher one, and then you would do 6 minus that die and take that much stress or stamina. So you'd roll 2d6 to determine if you could reduce how much you take.
Okay. Oh!
Okay. A 4 and a 4. So your highest die there is a 4. That means you take 6 minus 4, 2 stress. So you can mark off on your character 2 of those stress boxes as you utilize your stamina. What does this look like? I suggested dodging this log, but you resisted this, so you no longer have singed as your harm. What does it look like as Serpent does this?
I'd say as Serpent was looking at around, the tree would fall almost at the Igglybuff, and he knows best to not upset his kernel, so he just essentially, what he did was just tackle the Igglybuff away from the log, hopefully trying to do it harmlessly.
Okay, so you're trying to save the Igglybuff there. You notice it falling, and you jump in and tackle just in time. You feel the heat on your back, but you do not actually get singed. As you stand up, heavy breath at the moment, trying to catch your breath there, and you notice that your path to those behind you is blocked off. So you are with Igglybuff. I would assume Kecleon is probably also with you.
Yep.
But the path there is increasingly shut off as the fire is around you, and you have this fallen log in front of you. We will cut to Aaron as this is happening.
He done lost my darn Ingley Bluff. What the?
I
he's
think
out here
you
cursing up
all
a storm.
heard. I think you all heard the crash, but I don't think you saw it.
I
So
think that's
you
my
probably-
default. As soon as something went
Yeah.
wrong, I'm like, he done lost my gosh darn Iggly Bluff.
So, what is your actions here? Like, what is Aaron doing to either tackle the obstacle, maybe investigate this sound as this log is falling, burning in the forest? You still notice that Franklin is trying to sense the direction of Pokemon.
Okay, what would be best here? I think based on the situation, we need to find a solution for this fire at this point. So, we need to find a way to figure this out.
Yeah.
I would. Okay. I'm gonna dive into the essence of this game and try to force my positivity. I think I would study the area to find the source of the fire. So
The
looking
source
around.
of the fire.
So looking around, because clearly this has to start from somewhere. And so at the very least, finding a way to stop that would prevent it from spreading. Because there's no point going to the outside. Because then it could just pop
Yeah,
up in a
so-
different direction.
Study is study a person, document, or item with close scrutiny to gather information and apply knowledge. So what is the thing that you are using to help you kind of figure this out? Are you like looking at a map, studying that map for possible locations? Are you trying to like think through your ranger training when you were wandering through these woods to catch Pokemon? Like what does that study look like?
So I think the forest itself is an area that I've lived here for decades on decades on decades. I'm actually 127 years old, but I look like no, I'm probably not. But I've been here for a while. I know this area pretty well, and so I feel like I would know the wind patterns, the ways that things would spread. If you were starting a fire in this corner, it would spread this way, that corner, that way. And so clearly we've been sitting around for a little bit as this fire has spread a little bit. So just reversing that would be the idea. So going back to the history books of weather patterns, and based on that,
Okay.
go that way. Go the opposite of that.
Right, cool. Then that I will say with your study, we're still a risky position. Although if we are not moving too much soon, we might move to desperate. I don't know, because this fire is kicking up unless we do something. But I think with your searching of this knowledge, you'll have a standard effect to kind of figure out how this fire might have moved around the forest. So what is your study rating? How
My
many
study
dots do you have in your
is
study?
a 2-dotter.
Okay. Once again, you have those same options. You can either push yourself, which is taking 2 stress, 2 strain, 2 stamina to get +1 dice. You could ask for some assistance, although I'm not sure how someone would assist you in this specific study, as this is kind of recalling your knowledge.
Right.
But that is a thing you can do.
So 2 questions. If I'm reading
Yes.
this right, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 stress as our max, or 9 stamina.
I believe.
Or is it
So.
8?
Let me take a look.
The sheet, I think, I can't tell if that last one is part of stress or trauma. I'm guessing it's stress because it's.
Yeah,
What?
you have 9, or yeah,
All right, I'm just jotting that
yeah,
down.
you have
So-
9 stress.
and then
And once you hit that 9th, what happens is you're actually taken out of the mission
right.
because you have expended all of your stamina. You've got all your stress. You cannot like be effective in the mission anymore.
Mhm.
So you effectively are removed because you've overreached yourself.
Correct.
Later, once we get back from missions, we can figure out how to decrease our stress, our strain, our stamina, or whatever,
Mhm.
and make it a little better there. But for now, that you have 9. That's here.
Gotcha. And then
Recognize.
I need to be fair about this. I believe by assisting earlier by tossing the Iggly buff, I dropped my stress by 1. I used one of the stamina bars.
You did use one of them, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I am not going to expend myself. I think I'm going to
Okay.
cross my fingers that being a player gives me better player luck than GM luck, which who knows if that's true. All right. So it's 2d6, right?
It would
My
be
distance.
2d6, yes.
Yeah. Come on. Big money. I did not do that right. Oh yeah, because it's roll. Roll
Yeah.
2d6.
There you go. Ooh,
Hey,
that's a
hey.
5.
A 5.
All right. So, with a risky standard effect, a 5 is a mix there. You do it, but there's a consequence. You'll suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, or you end up in a desperate position. So, how mean do I want to make that?
Go.
Because the fire is raging. We see our ticks on that clock. We've got 4 out of 6. This fire is ramping up. I think your consequence. No, I have a different one because desperate's real bad in this game, and I don't want to just hit you with that desperate hammer right away. So instead, your complication is that so you know the winds, you know the patterns, you actually even kind of know some of the trees on like a personal level somehow.
I talked to him.
You like
Iggly
hang
buff
out,
talked to him.
play cards, you know.
I'm still mad
maybe
at
a
this one
Trevenant.
tree they beat me in poker the other day.
But you know the terrain of this forest really well. This is where all of your training has been done. So you know the wind patterns are coming across a canyon. This is the let's see. This is the Tinkatun Canyon.
Perfect.
And it's not Grand Canyon, you know, it's not absolutely enormous, but from your understanding, the source of this fire is probably on the other side of that gap. So you have another obstacle in front of you that you will have to get past, get over. But you did have a standard effect in assessing that that situation, right? So the find the source of the fire is actually going to move forward by 2 ticks. So you are 3 out of 4 in finding the source of this fire. So let's talk about what is going on now. We have Franklin and Aaron. You've realized that Serpent, or is that your name, Serpent? No. Yeah, Serpent.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say the other one, which is not the joke one. I can't call you the slithery reptile. You've realized that Serpent is hasn't returned from this little scouting mission. Franklin, you got that sense of kind of where things might be coming from, and that confirms Aaron's understanding of the terrain and how the fire may have jumped, because a lot of the Pokemon you sensed were fleeing from that direction. But the fire is around you now. Like it is getting pretty bad. It's not fully desperate yet. It's not fully awful, but if you don't start moving, if you don't start doing something about the fire too, you might get stuck and swallowed up here too. How are we tackling this? I assume Aaron has conveyed the canyon conundrum to you.
Yeah, I think I turned to. I'm sorry. Remind me your name again.
Franklin.
In game.
Franklin.
Franklin. I turn to you, Franklin, and I'm like, all right, I got good news, bad news, and really bad news. Good news, I know where the fire is. It's that away. Points towards like the cave canyon area. Bad news, Serpent's probably stuck behind the logs. And the worst news, Igloo Buff stuff, which is tragic. Screams at the top of the song.
Let me add into that, sir. People are behind this. This is no natural. This is not a natural source.
Well, people are behind it then. Well, how much do we trust Serpent to get out of this situation? How confident do we feel?
Sir, with all your respect, we need to put this fire because we might get caught up in that as well.
An important thing to bring up that I can suggest is you have the ability to affect the forest is burning clock.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
Actions you take to try and actively put out the fire will tick that clock down. You can essentially combat the fire as you would normally. So if you try to find something that could put out the flames, and if you remember, you are rangers.
Yeah.
You do have ranger stylers. You can try and find Pokemon that might be more effective in putting out fire too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to ask for Aaron and said, "Sir, what do you want to do more? Either run out of the people who are taking the fire or extinguishing them?"
Extinguishing the fire is probably the biggest thing, so let's get rid of that first.
Okay, for sure. I guess I don't know if study is good enough for an action to try to look for, I don't know, a water Pokemon or a flying Pokemon that would help.
So here's what I'll do. I don't think you have to roll to find a Pokemon because you're out in the wild. There's Pokemon here. The roll that I'll make will probably determine like how good of a Pokemon you'll find. So
Okay.
it's something called a fortune roll, which basically is like a regular roll, but there's no consequences attached to it. So it's a roll without position. It just determines like how effective or how good of the thing it is you find. So if you roll well, you'll probably find like a water Pokemon that can do a lot of things, so you'd get great effect on using it. If you roll poorly, then you might find like a grass type Pokemon who doesn't want to put out this fire. So talking about that,
Yeah.
Like it's Kyle.
oh no.
I mean,
Don't
Kyle
bring
right
Kyle
now,
into
technically, Kyle technically right now, the Trico is the Pokemon sponsor, which is a new incentive tier that's available. I've done this in previous years. If it's the smallest donation thing, it is $1. And in exchange, you get to control what that Pokemon is on the screen right now. So right now it's Kyle. I'll be honest, I do not know if it's Kyle the Trico trying to support us or if it's Muhammad trying to spite me. So if you want to change that, you can do so. I call you out, Muhammad, because I love you,
Yes.
and also because I'm pretty sure you don't. You hate the GM.
So one question: Can we, like, if we both are looking for the same thing with Tara, can we like help each other and add one more die for that fortune roll?
Yeah, so assigning the number of dice for the fortune roll is looking at a bunch of different factors. If you take into account, I would probably say, what is your study, or not your study, your survey rating?
My server is 1.
Your survey is 1? Okay, because that would be one thing to take into account, because you're trying to find it,
Yeah.
You're trying to look around everywhere, kind of. Alternatively, it could also be like your hunt, because you're trying to track down your track skill, basically.
Yeah, I
That still
believe.
is one.
Yeah, that's still one. Yeah, but I think in this situation, I believe that either of those could work. Yeah.
Yeah. I think regardless of that, what would help
Mhm.
though is having Aaron there, and if Aaron is like, you know, knowing the terrain, knowing all of that, and
Mhm.
offering things up, Aaron might know where some water Pokemon normally would hang out. So let's say this is a fortune roll 2. So go ahead and roll 2d6, and we'll take the highest.
Okay.
Does it matter who rolls? I guess. In that case.
Frank.
Okay.
Because you're just basically like, I know where a river is.
I have an idea.
So that's a 5. That's good.
Okay, yeah, 5 is good. So it's not full sixness, but 5 is still a success, and the 4 would have been too, because you got a 4 and a 5. But let's look up random water type Pokemon generator
Maybe.
to see who you
May I
find.
suggest something that it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
feeling for a forest?
What's
What
that?
about a Lombre or a Ludicolo?
Ooh, that would be cool. Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah, let's go with a Lombre. We find let's see. You know what would be here? Here's what we find actually.
Mhm.
You and Aaron. Aaron, you're going with Franklin, right?
Yeah, I
In this situation?
I think so.
Okay. So you start like heading through this forest, and you're like, I know where things are. I know where there's a water Pokemon. I know a river, a lake here, and you're guiding through, and you find like a little pond, like a little swampish. Is swampish a word?
Yeah.
Swamp,
Let's go for
swampish,
it.
swampish pond, I guess. And what you notice is there is a small collection of Lotad in the pond, and a ring around, like semicircle, half moon ring around the pond, is trees that are on fire with branches falling, and there's three Lombre there, desperately trying to put out that fire. They're grabbing water, they're spraying it at the fire. It's doing something enough to like not completely burn and boil up the pond, but it's not stopping it either. They're there. They're trying to help out. By themselves, it seems like they don't have the full ability to. But as that's going on, let's cut to Serpent, because you've been disconnected from your crew right now, your ranger crew, and you're in a bit of a tough spot here. There's fire kind of everywhere, and the path is a little blocked off. And Igglybuff is like, I don't know. Igglybuff is tough, right? Right, Honoru?
Igglybuff
A little
is a tough little guy. Yeah. I don't know if they specifically the fighting type version, but they certainly wish they were the versions.
So I think Igglybuff is like floating above your head, like looking at the burning log behind you, just like air punching, like. What's going on, Serpent? What are you doing? How are you trying to affect this?
At first, like, Serpent and Sarge just looking at the best there and now, and at first Serpent didn't know how he was gonna get out of this mess, but saw it that they just straight up, as this mute self normally does, just points a direction and just runs towards that direction, which he felt that was probably the best way to go. And Serpent knows his partner. They were training together for a while. And if Serpent knows anything about Solid, it's that 1. Solid's mute. And 2. Solid knows how to navigate an obstacle course.
Ooh, okay. So
yeah.
what do we see? We get Solid like running through the forest, kind of trying to jump over logs here and there, slide under some burning things as they go, running in a direction. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think.
Like pretty much, Solid is trying to lead Serpent and the Igglybuff to at least safety, aka a clearing, or their partners.
Yeah. So this is definitely something that is a daring action. So you're gonna have to roll with some stats for this. What do you feel like you're using? What ability, what action do you think you're taking? Is this a prowl? Is this a finesse?
I'd say prowl, because like it's like they're trying to like do some sleight of hand through the burning forest.
Okay, so
they're basically just straight up booking.
Yeah, prowl is about unseen and traverse obstacles, not opticals.
Optical illusions. The
you
forest burning is just an illusion.
You traverse obstacle illusions. Climb, swim, run, jump, and tumble. Okay, so this is... Let me take a look. Given where you are... Oh, shoot. Hold up a second. I think this is going to be risky. For sure, we're still in a risky position here. Though if this goes bad, things might shift to desperate with how we've been. And I think... I think given your situation, you have a standard effect on this. So risky standard still. Go ahead. What's your prowl?
2.
Okay. Do you want to take stress for an extra die or
yes
or something else? Okay. So
it'd be pretty draining of stamina and pretty stressful altogether to just do stuff like running past falling logs, jumping past fires.
Very true. So go ahead and mark 2 more off of your stress or stamina. So you should have 4 now. And you can roll 3d6.
Okay, let's see the results.
Ooh, that is close.
Yeah.
Damn!
A 5, a 1, and a 3. But thankfully we take the highest. So on a risky, you do it, but there is a consequence. You suffer harm, a complication occurs, you have reduced effect, or you end up in a desperate position. Oof. I think I'm gonna have to do it to him, folks.
Don't do it to him. You don't need to. It's fine.
You are like dashing through this forest, dodging things left and right. So, Honored, is Igglybuff like also like pretty quick and capable, or would Serpent have to like hold Igglybuff's hand, dragging them behind as this is happening?
I think Igglybuff's default position is bouncing a la Pikachu, either on the shoulders or... Actually, probably the shoulders, or you would have to hold on to Igglybuff. I think with me specifically, Igglybuff's comfortable enough that they'll bounce on my head.
Okay.
And not worry about it. So you don't need to necessarily hold the hand, but it will slow you down, because it's almost like carrying a football that's alive.
Yeah. So we see like holding Igglybuff in Serpent's hand, dodging things left and right, sliding under a burning branch as it's going. We see like shimmers in the fire as we assume Solid, the Kecleon, blending in is also doing these things. And you come bursting out of a tree that lights on fire behind you, much like the other one that did. And much like in a cartoon, we hear the like screech, tire screech noise as you try and stop yourself from absolutely launching yourself right into Tinkaton's canyon. And I think we hear those tire screeching noises. We see your heels like planting and like scraping along the ground, and you stop just before you would have fallen in. And when your footfalls happen again, we hear whoosh as the trees behind you are aflame. You're in a desperate position now. And that doesn't just go for Serpent. Our folks in by this pond with these Lombre also notice this, as there's no longer a stalemate between the fire and the water guns of these Lombre. It has started to creep forward, further, closer to the pond. Before we flash back to you, though, I do want to give Serpent a success as well on finding out where to go, because you notice across that canyon, Serpent, there is a bit of a clearing where there is a large like staff looking item sticking out of the ground that is just on fire, and like circles of fire keep whooshing out from the top of it. You have found the source of the fire. Congratulations there. But it is across this canyon. And you notice that there are Pokemon just like fleeing across the gaps as well, trying to run away. You see, what would you see? I think you see like a sand shrew pop up out of the ground next to you and just like run away.
So it just rolls away.
Oh yeah, it rolls away. It'd be funny if it was running, just waddle, 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 waddle. Okay. You're watching that happen, and we flash to the Lotad Lombre situation. Franklin, Aaron, what's going on? We have these Lombre desperately trying to push back this fire. That fire has started to encroach. Things are getting desperate here. What are we doing?
Oh gosh. What would work here?
Keep in mind, you can use your stylers. You can use your
I
stylers
was
to try
thinking, if we use our
befriend.
styler, it's like technically we are powering up, right?
Yeah. So what I will say with the styler is, in Pokemon Ranger games, we often see the Pokemon Rangers go around finding Pokemon that have specific abilities to help them at their task. For example, if there's like a mission in a burning forest, you can find water-type Pokemon to put out logs that are in your way or try and calm down flames. You would capture them with your styler and then ask them to assist. In this case, I don't think that would be two separate actions. Whatever you would be doing here, however you're trying to utilize that, would probably be the one action to try and get them to help, because that would determine how effective they are at doing the thing you want to get done. So either of you can work on whatever's going on. You can do a separate action. If anybody wants to maybe like grab the low tab, that could be something you do. What's up? Who's acting first here?
So I believe Franklin's going to Aaron. So do you know if any of these guys can learn rain dance?
Aaron, do you know if Lombre can learn rain dance?
I believe it can.
So I suggest we try to wrangle one up and start with that, and it can power up every single one using their water attacks.
So if we want to
Okay.
be more specific, Rain Dance specifically, I think is a TM move for Lombre.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Ludicolo,
Well,
however... Okay, well, so it depends on the generation. If we're going by the most recent generation, Lombre needs the TM, Ludicolo does not. Though Lombre used to have it be a level up move. So I leave it up to us as to how we want to play that.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll play to find out what happens. Let's figure out this roll and see if we happen to get one that knows rain dance.
Come
or
on, baby.
maybe
Roll
maybe
for
one of them
Generation 8
bumps
stats.
into a water stone that just appears.
Do you want to roll for wrangling up, and I can help you for that?
Sure. That would be a fortune roll, or...
So, what is the action we're taking? If we're trying to throw out our styler, to like grab is probably not the right word. to
That's why
start
I
this
said
capture,
wrangle, yeah.
wrangle, capture, befriend, I guess. These Lombre. What sort of action do you feel that is?
It depends on who's doing the wrangling, right?
Right. You can decide. So it could be a couple of things. Technically, I'm not supposed to tell you an action to do.
Right.
But looking at this action list, a tune sounds interesting. Technically, in Blades in the Dark, there's spirits and ghosts. So a tune is you
Yeah.
attune to spirits and ghosts. Channel electroplasmic energy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I have
Maybe
a,
that is friendship.
I
What?
have an idea. It's kind of convoluted, but it does fit my character specifically. Whether or not we want to go with that leaves it up to us. But I could just command them and be like, guys, like, gruff professor showing up. Like, guys, you're not efficient. Let's go. Do this right. That way. This way.
Right.
Why are you hitting that
You-
leaf?
you
That
were
leaf is
wrong.
clear.
You can wrangle with command, and I can help you with a tune, like with styler, like with the runes of my cane and everything like that.
Yeah, so what we could do with it is, so command definitely sounds like it could be a thing. By itself, it might not have as great of an effect, but with Fran's suggestion about Franklin doing the attune, that sounds like something that's called a setup action. One player can set up another player with an action.
Okay.
So basically, Franklin would roll a tune, which would be throwing out the styler, trying to capture them. And then Aaron could roll command after that. If the attune is successful, then Aaron would get +1 effect or an improved position.
Okay.
Does that make sense? You're kind of like setting up
Yeah.
the Lombre's ability to like actually care about what
Yeah.
Aaron has to say, because if you're not too friendly to them, they might not like your command very much.
Guys, it's your forest,
I do
uh.
have two. I have two for a tune. Can I use like an stamina or something like that to bump it up to a 3?
Yeah, if you mark off 2 stamina, 2 stress or stamina,
Yeah.
you can add an extra dice to your pool.
Yeah, I think it's necessary because we are almost at the forest fully burning down. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm going to use 2 point of stamina and roll 3d6 for this.
Okay.
It's a good thing. 10.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Wait, hold on. What is this roll? I see 2, 4, 2. Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. A 4 is still something. The 2s threw me off. I was so confused. Although I did also forget to set the position effect before, but it would be, I think, standard. But we are in desperate. So a 4 or 5 in a desperate position, you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm, a serious complication occurs, or you have reduced effect. I think... Here is what I'm going to say happens. I am going to... Let me find my Roll20 again. I'm going to do 2 things. Severe harm is a lot, so I'm not going to fully give you severe harm. But what I am going to do is tick a mystery clock. We've got 4 mystery clocks up there in our faction clocks. A consequence that you hadn't accounted for or even realized was happening is ticking. But also, I'm going to ask you to take the level 1 harm.
Okay.
Shoot, is it level 1? Let me take a look at those. Level 1, or I'm gonna have you take. What's a good word for this? I'm gonna have you take the level 2 harm, 2nd degree burn. As
Okay.
you run in, you throw out your styler, you start to circle them, but as that's happening, you kind of like step out of position or a bit, or that the fire kind of encroaches, and you're in a place where you can't compromise your capture. You have to get it done, but you can't move. So there is just fire just on you right now, and you do get burnt from that. You can resist that consequence if you want. That would end up potentially getting you stress, or you can hold on to the level 2 harm.
I think in this condition he's pushing himself too much. I'm going to try to resist that.
Okay, so a resistance again is going to use one of those 3. How do you feel like you're resisting this? Are you resisting this with prowess, which would be figuring out how to move out of the way? Or are you resisting this with resolve, where you are just kind of like pressuring through the situation to not have it affect you?
Yeah, I believe that Franklin he's pretty stressed out, but at the same time, like it's he doesn't want to be perceived as a liability.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trying his best to mask it for everyone. Mancher already knows that he's on the brink of everything.
Right.
But he's trying his best to help and don't hinder anyone.
Okay, so you're just kind of pushing your resolve to power through. It looks like you have 1 resolve. So, for people interested in the mechanics of the game, resolve is something called an attribute, which is just like a collection of actions, and underneath that attribute are 4 different actions. And for each one of those actions that you have at least one dot in, you have 1 point of resolve. So Franklin, because you have dots in attune, but nothing else, you have 1 resolve.
Okay.
So you would roll 1d6, and you would take stress that is equal to 6 minus that dice.
Okay, I'm going to take 3.
Okay, yeah, so 6 minus 3 is 3 stress. Mark 3 stress on your character, which I believe puts you at 5. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, 5. Getting up there. Not too wild yet though. And so that would let me take a look at these again. That would, I'm gonna say that's completely gonna nullify the harm.
Okay.
In another
Put in the
situation,
4 and minus 1d6.
yeah. Actually, I'll say that it's going to be a level 1 harm. It's going to bump it down because you were at level 2 because it was dire. This is going to bump it down to a level 1 harm, and that harm is going to be it's going to be called pressured. So you are feeling pressured
Okay.
by this. It's not as bad. You are not physically getting hurt by it, but because you're pushing your resolve, you're powering through. You are being pressured here. You feel
Okay.
that. And that though is a successful setup action because you got that 4 that mixed there. Aaron, give us your command. What does this look like? What's going on here?
I think quite literally, like a professor, clears the throat, and then just goes full army sergeant. Now, if you guys want to get this fire out, you got to do this correctly. You understand me? The fire is that way. Why are you pointing it towards the ocean? That doesn't make any sense. Why are you pointing it towards the cave? Doesn't make any sense. Aim for the fire. Go for the fire. Let's go, go, go.
Okay.
Up to.
We are in a desperate position, so we are still desperate there. But your effect, I think, is actually going to start out at probably standard, but you have gotten the setup action, so you could either improve your position, you could bump it up to risky standard, or you could improve your effect. You could bump it to desperate great.
I'm gonna go for yeah. Wait, so good.
For like mechanical understanding here, in terms of how you would affect the clock, a standard effect would only knock it down by 2. A great effect would knock the clock down by 3.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bump it to great in this regard.
Okay. So you're still gonna say, I'm gonna weather whatever consequences happen here. We're still in desperate. But
of course I'm desperate. Where's my Igglybuff, man? Where'd my Igglybuff go? I got nothing holding me back at this point.
Flash to Igglybuff floats over the canyon, grabs that burning staff, and just like swings it around like fire.
I think Igglybuff right now is trying to be Tarzan or something.
that does happen. But okay, yeah. So you have plus effect there. So you're rolling command with desperate great. What is your what's your command?
So my
number?
command is 2 dots.
2 dots. You can once again mark 2 stress to or 2 stamina to add a dice to that if you want. To roll 3.
Why not? I got all this. What's the worst that'll happen, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna take a nap sooner or later, maybe theoretically.
I also will offer up. I just remembered another way to get a dice. Let me find where I saw it in.
While you're finding that, another way I could get a die is through donations. If someone wants to donate as little as $5 towards the player preparation thing, we can prevent this forest fire from occurring. You're helping a good cause, and also help me get my Igglybuff back. That would be very helpful.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Only you, and by you, I mean all of you.
You could also we have another one where you can pay to tick any clock. any clock up or down, so you could
Right,
just pay to tick this fire clock down.
Yeah, you could pay. Yeah, you could pay to fill up the fire clock, which would make things very desperate for us. Or you could pay to eliminate a tick from the fire clock, making things that much better. Cough, cough, wink, wink. I'm not panicking.
To not shill here. I misread this rule real quick. It's not another way you could get a dice. It's just an alternative. So there's something in Blades in the Dark called a Devil's Bargain, which
Giratina's bargain, yeah.
Giratina's deal, Giratina's bargain, where you get an extra dice, but I get to do a thing. I would tell you, like, I get to do this thing.
Okay, so
that is only an alternative to gaining stress. So you can push yourself for the dice, or you can get the Devil's Bargain.
I refuse to give you
basically-
anything, Daisy. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna go for the stress.
Yeah, he'll take the stress.
That's smart, yeah. Don't give
I
Daisy more
give-
power.
Daisy, I know how GMs work. I don't need that. I know what
But
I
I
would do.
want to tick a mystery clock.
We'll tick it some other time. Tick the clock on your own time.
Clock.
Okay, go ahead and roll your 3d6 for your command.
My stress drops. My stress drops by
40.
2, correct?
Yeah, 3. You would add 2, yeah. So you should be at 3 now. 3 out of 9.
I took 1 for the assist. I took 2 for the previous time. I would take 2 this time.
So
right.
so you're
I'd be
at 5.
4. Or 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. So I'd be 4 remaining, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, because I have an assist. I have the previous stress, and I have this stress. Which I'm bringing in for.
We were both counting different directions. I was counting taken. You were counting remaining.
Yes. For dramatic effect, let's have everyone listen to the nice sound of dice rolling in a little like section here. So let's see if I can get this done. Also, with the maniacal music in the background that everybody in the audience hears. So let's just actually let's not even do that. Let's get a. I know I'm rolling 3 die. Let's roll like 1,000 of these. So just for
Excuse me.
well, it's gonna sound nice. That's why. We'll just. How about that? I don't know if that caught. It might not have been heard.
It sounded like somebody burped.
Okay.
It sounded like you cracked your knuckles.
Okay, let me
That's
try.
it.
All right. Wait, maybe you can hear this because it's not pointing at my mic. But...
Cracks knuckles to get the Lombre to use better moves.
Okay, wait.
You should learn Rain Dance right now.
No.
Threateningly.
This is probably gonna
You should
scatter
use
my dice
Hydro
around.
Pump.
But...
Now.
Wait. Let me see if you guys can hear this because it's not pointing at my mic. But if I do a. That better?
Slightly.
Alright, whatever.
It still sounds just like a
Alright.
bump.
Let's roll the real dice because clearly this isn't working. That's it. Roll
What?
3d6.
What are you-
3d6.
Hello?
No one's getting a 6.
Ooh, good.
Nice.
5, 2, 2. So, that is a desperate 4 or 5 result. You do it, but there is a consequence. You suffer severe harm, a serious complication occurs, or you have reduced effect. I'm not going to reduce your effect, but I think I am going to do the same thing, offer the same thing I gave to Franklin, which is I'm gonna tick my mystery clock.
Before you do
because
that,
that's fun.
because this is maybe important. I don't know if this matters. Shout out to Alec Blackheart. I assume that's how you would say your name, with a $3 donation to introduce a Pokemon. So, first off, thank you for the first
Well-
donation. Let's hopefully get this thing going. Second off, take that, Daisy. A new Pokemon has showed up.
Do we have a suggestion of that Pokemon, or is it just any Pokemon?
As of now, it's any Pokemon.
This
I
is
know
not
Alec
supposed to
Blackheart
be
is in the.
serious.
You are in the chat, Alec Blackheart. Do you have a suggestion of what Pokemon you would like to toss in? We're gonna have to wait a second.
Yeah, that's okay. While that's happening, I'll outline the consequences there. I ticked a mystery clock. Wahahaha.
Boo.
and
Oh, no.
you can take
Roll with brain dance.
you'll have to take or resist the level 2 harm second degree burns.
So Alec Blackheart has confirmed Squirtle. They've recommended with Rain Dance. I don't know if you'll allow that, but at the very least, it's a Squirtle that's showing up. To resist this, would I get to choose how I resist this, or is there a specific one?
Yeah, in the same sort of way that I offered up to Franklin. The reason you're getting burns here is because you're actually the fire is still raging. It's getting more and more, but you've noticed that the ground is like shifting a bit. It's not like earthquake shifting, but there's something weird happening with the ground over here.
That's fun.
So branches that are on fire are kind of like falling your way, and at one point you'd have to like smack it out of the way as you command to do this. So you could use prowess to kind of dodge out of the way. You could resolve like Franklin did to just like pressure through, be like this doesn't hurt. If you can give me a good idea for insight, you could figure out how to use insight. But with this, I'm not too sure where an insight resist might fit.
I yell at the fire loud enough, since it's the command is part of resolve. I study the fire hard enough.
I beat the fire in a game of chess, and it decides to stop.
That's exactly. No, I think
It's like a game of shoops and ladders.
I think prowess is probably the best of the options that are available here.
Oh, and what is your prowess rating?
So does that how does that work? Does that total up the number of different ones or the number of dots? It's the same for me.
So it would be one. You'd have one for every different action you have in prowess.
Okay. It's the same either way. That'd be 2.
2. Okay. Just for reference, real quick though, what are the 2 actions under prowess that you have?
I have
how many do you have?
I've got 1 dot on prowl and 1 dot on finesse.
Okay, cool. So you will resist with 2d6 and take the highest.
Where? I'm operating on one screen, folks, so apologies for that. Roll in 2d6. We're gonna take the highest. Please give me a high number, because if it's low, I might get knocked out.
That is very good. You got.
I haven't rolled it yet.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't?
No. That's my old one.
Oh. Oops. Sorry.
Oh gosh, wait. Roll 2d6. Of course not.
No.
Ooh. I'm sorry. So you got a 1. You got 2 ones. Nothing special really happens with 2 ones. Also, this is a resist. That just means you have to mark 5 stress.
Yeah.
Right. That's the problem. I have 4 stress. So, I've decided to go with my Igloo buff and not be here.
Oh no.
No.
The thing is,
This is looking great, guys.
so first off though, I will give you the positive effects of your action here, because while you resisted and while this is a lot of stress, you did the thing. You commanded it. You got a success on a great. So the forest burning is going to drop down by 3. So we're here. So we are. We were at 5. So we are back down to 2. 2 ticks on the forest's burning claw. But you also have to take. You resisted the level 2 harm. Burned, and you're gonna then take instead the level 1 harm. How singed? Maybe I'm trying to. How did you resisted with prowess, right?
I did
so did you
prowess,
just
yeah.
did you smack it out of the way? Did you like what did that look like? Did you dodge out of the way?
I was thinking dodge.
Okay.
So this feels like dodge, but not dodgeball enough. Ah, the old
Well,
war
here-
injury.
I will tie it into to our Squirtle showing up because you dodge out of the way as a Squirtle comes flying in from the side screen and conks you on the head. So you take level 1 harm, conked.
Yep. Hey
Kyle,
guys,
I'm sorry. I found it and tossed it your way.
I appreciate the donation. I do not like the concussion I now have.
No, not concussed, just conked.
Oh, just conk, yeah, sure. The potential
Just conked.
concussion. I just got tackled by a turtle.
And you like fall over. We'll touch on this a bit later because normally in Blades, when you fill up your stress, you take a what they call trauma, but we're not going to do that for this, just based on the style of game. We're going to have you take a condition, but we can talk about that around downtime.
Minor brain tablet.
Little wee bit,
So-
wee bit.
Let's Squirtle comes in, ends up standing on your head as you are like conked and sitting on the ground, and a second ranger crew comes in. Out of game will know that this is a student squad from the Ranger Academy. And
great.
there's a trainee ranger that has this Squirtle that comes in, and instantly the Squirtle starts rain dancing and
On my head?
looking at the Lombre like, you got to join in on this, let's rain dance, and they all do it, and
So
it
they're
starts
doing-
to pour.
So just to confirm, the Squirtle is doing a river dance on my slightly out of it head.
Rain dance, but yes.
Oh my gosh! I just imagine just Squirtle out here with like full on like what's it, the Rasputin dance thing? Just doing that on top of my head.
I'm not why I was thinking Gangnam Style.
Just doing gang.
Oh gosh. And we, as that's happening, you see these Ranger Academy people come in and they start to check on you, Aaron. Their leader like sends them away with you to be like, take this Ranger back. He's not doing too well.
I need my
And
pension.
that Ranger sticks around with Franklin there as we cut to Serpent. Oh my gosh, I keep want to call you Snake. Oh no, I said the thing. Oh no.
You could say the thing.
Oh no,
just...
the illusion is broken.
No. It's Snake like
Who said that?
it's Snake like Arbok. You know. That
Okay.
one.
Nope rope.
The Burke
Danger Noodle.
Wee woo.
Danger Noodle.
So Serpent. You've noticed that the fire has started to calm down a bit. There's clouds overhead that have started raining, so you're no longer in a desperate position here. But what are you doing to try and get across this canyon, this ravine that you've come upon? You see that staff in the distance that was sunken into the ground, still radiating off the fire. So the fire isn't completely gone yet because this is still churning it out. But behind you, it's not as dangerous anymore. How are you trying to act to get across? You, Igglybuff, Kecleon. You could also try to get a Pokemon capture with some of the any Pokemon that is currently fleeing the fire. If that's
Question.
the attempt you want to do. What's up? What's your question?
How big are the flying type Pokemon that resides in this forest normally?
Let me take a quick fortune roll for that. I'm gonna roll. I'll say, because this is a pretty
depending
big
on how big
forest.
the average one is, that might change my course of action.
Yeah, I rolled 2d6 and got a 4. So, I would say they're not as large as like a Pidgeot if you wanted to like fly across on a Pidgeot or like a Charizard or Dragonite, but there are some things that are like large enough, but in a strange way. So there's like
Drifting. Yeah.
Yes. I was gonna say Driftblim are there. What's another weird kind of funky flying Pokemon?
Kameko? Like an unusually large one?
Yeah.
Mega.
There's a river down there, and you see like a Mantine jump up, and it's it's kind of gliding around. So there's some Pokemon that could bridge the gap, but they'd be like strange and awkward. But they're still there if that's the path you want to take.
Well, this doesn't really change my course of action too much. But enough for me to change the nature of my role.
How do you mean?
Because if it was $16?
It's a $16 donation from me, because if I can't do anything as a player, I'm doing things as a donator. Yeah, take that, Daisy. That's right. Plot twist, players can donate as well. So, a donation from me to me, because I apparently can't trust the dice. So, the first one, the smallest one, is that I am donating $1 to change the starter Pokemon, the Pokemon of the stream, from Trico to Igglybuff, because, of course. The second thing is I've added a Ranger preparation thing, which I believe is a D6 die in the pool that you could go through. Is that right, Daisy?
Yeah, you can either take an extra dice, you can improve your position, or you can improve your effect with the Ranger prep.
Do I have to specify a person for that, or is that just anybody that wants
No,
stacks?
it's just in the pool. Anybody who wants to.
All right, so that's there for anybody. And then the final thing is that I'm taking away one of the mystery clock slices.
Oh, thank you.
I'm doing that.
Goodness.
I'm doing that because I know what happens,
Yeah,
and I
I'm
don't want it
scared.
to happen.
I'm gonna
Boo-hoo.
scare as well. But
No
alright.
fun.
Look, Daisy, if anyone really, really likes Daisy, which after this stream, I don't know why, but if you have to, then all you have to do, there's my little bouncing Igglybuff. You could donate to add the thing on the clock if you want to be chaotic, which
I'm a fan of the players. I like this move, and I'm a fan of donations, so I think it's good.
okay, great. Now I'm gonna go back.
I
to
just
being
also
knocked
know
out.
what these do, and I like them.
All right, I'm gonna go back to being knocked out again.
Yeah.
Someone get my 401.
Just being dragged away. Aaron,
need to
Aaron
adjust
just,
my will,
throw
please.
some money. Anyway, Serpent, back to you. What were you planning on doing again with your action?
Instead of going for a prowl to see like how far I have to go to, go around the canyon, I'm gonna use Sway to capture like a Drifloon,
Okay.
like a Drifloon, like
Yeah.
Drifblim, to just carry solid myself and the Colonel Igglybuff.
Okay. Yeah. So, what's your dot rating in Sway?
2.
2? Oh, nice. So, you are at a risky standard effect right now. If you want, you can utilize one of those dice in the pool to either increase your effect or position, or you can add an extra die, so you'd go from 2 to 3. You can also take 2 stress, mark 2 stamina to add an extra die as well. So if you used the one in the pool and took stress, you could roll with 4d6 risky standard.
Or I could do like 2d6 with like regular precision and great effect.
You could go you could take that to increase to great effect or increase to a controlled position. The stress will only get you a dice though.
Okay.
So you could do
Yeah.
3 dice with a great effect, risky great if that's what you want, and take the pool.
I'm gonna say normal, controlled condition.
Okay, so controlled standard, and then
Yes.
you're going to take. Are you going to take stress for the extra dice to do 3, or are you just going to go for 2?
I'm gonna take some stress for free because I do not trust my own luck.
Okay,
That's
so
value.
that puts you up to 6 stress. 3 more ticks there, till you're out. But what does this look like? Let's roll those 3d6.
Bam! Let's go!
Nice.
Finally, someone gets them dice.
Finally,
go.
it was
Oh.
It's
time.
about time.
That is 2,
Finally!
6, and a 6. A very special thing happens because when you roll 2d6, that is a critical effect. So, on a critical, and you're controlled, you do it with increased effect. So, you're bumped up to a great effect there. So what I'm gonna say is, let me pull up our things. That you've basically filled up an entire other clock called recover the item.
Yeah.
You're getting a drift blim, right? You're riding a drift blim across.
Yes.
So we see Serpent floating on a drift blim, followed by Solid the Kecleon and Igglybuff bouncing along on some Drifloon behind. And
Like Solid is just jumping on the Mario style.
what does it look like? Show us what it looks like when you grab this like staff thing that's in the ground and like pull it up, and it like stops burning. Like how
Okay,
how do
so-
you do that? How does
Like how
Serpent? Yeah, give us
how
a
Serpent
cool
usually
action shot
does.
here. Like a cool action
He is
shot.
riding upon the Drifblim high up as he soon lets go and dive bombs down. Solid Snake style. As he lands square on his feet just to grab the staff, pulling it up with all his might before holding it to the sky. As he then
Oh.
grabs it with both his hands and cracks it open with his knee.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so you break it.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. And I think as that happens, like wisps of fire and smoke come out of the ends, but the fire has stopped. The forest is no longer burning because the rain dance has powered through. I think we're coming up on our time for this first time slot. So we're going to have a couple views of how this mission kind of ends. Because you did it. You did the thing. It took a lot. One of you did get honked. But we see images of the rain cloud forming and pouring over the Florges forest. The Ranger Academy like leader starts walking Franklin back to catch up with the 2 recruits who were dragging Aaron back to base. And then they kind of like come get you across the canyon as well. They set up some sort of bridge, and um, and you all walk back towards your base in Radiant City. We get a last glimpse of that clearing where you found that staff, though, as everyone is back. The players don't see this, but us as the audience, out of game, we see the ground that was shaking kind of start to erupt with roots, as roots are kind of pouring out, and trees that were burnt slowly begin to kind of grow back.
Okay.
And coming out of the forest, or more of like floating down from a cliff with a big yawn, we see a Pokemon that looks it looks kind of like a bull, and it's holding a bell. A bull is a bit of a stretch, but we see Tapu Bulu yawning, floating down, sparkles coming off as trees start to grow back. And before our scene cuts back to our rangers at the base, we see four people, dressed in like a matte, scary, like a matte dark gray, come out of the trees, just saying like, "Ugh, we missed it, but at least you're here." And they like heft out like Pokeballs or something. Let's see if we can do this. And then the screen blanks, and we go back to see everybody back in the base, happily like bandaging up what we've got. And that's where this first time slot ends. I'll ask Anaru to step in and ask how we want to handle this spot, because I think we're coming up on a bit of a break. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I have been suggested by players, society, my own personal self, that we should take breaks every now and then. So,
Oh yeah, you should.
there's one of the suggestions right there. So, what I am going to say, as we do this right now, I'm going to keep the stream is still going to be live. Any donations that occur right now will just stack up and proceed to the next one. If you want to change the sponsor, if you want to add dice to the dice pool and make things more complicated, if you want to add to the clocks, I believe, Daisy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the majority of the clocks on the top are still active.
They're all still active. The ones that are no longer active are going to be the mission clocks, because the mission is over. So those ones don't really matter. The forest is no longer burning, but the clocks up on the top are active.
Yep.
And I'll probably be going in and seeing some things during the break a little bit, because some of our actions here may have affected some stuff. You may notice I already ticked the Ranger Academy up one, because some of our Ranger recruits have gotten some skill. Once that fills, we might get some new Rangers at our station. NPC Rangers, because other people are going to be filtering in with their Rangers, but some fresh green Rangers.
Yep. So, the time right now, you can translate this into whatever time zone you are. The time right now, Eastern side, is 3:06. So we will be restarting slightly before 3:30. We're going to give ourselves about a 15-20 minute break here. And again, any donations are still here. I'm probably going to stick around for the most part. While Daisy, if you'd like, you can transition the folks that have been here so far. Let's give a quick round of applause, virtually, physically, emotionally, chat-wise, to the players that have been here so far, the ones that actually did the work, while I'm out here slamming my head against a Squirtle's head. Massive shout massive shout out to Mochi, massive
Yes.
shout out to Fred for joining us so far. I believe Mochi, I believe you're coming back. Am I right? Or is it Fran
Oh,
that's coming?
yeah, I am here for one more.
So Mochi's going to stick
All
around for the next session. Fran, thank you so much for joining us during this transition time. While we transition over and we get everything set. Yeah, loud applause in the chat. Let's go. Again, donations are still active. A lot of the milestones have been updated. If you're not a Scratch fan, there's a couple of updates about Not a Scratch that even these two, I'm pointing, even though only one of them is a co-host, Daisy doesn't know about. Muhammad in the chat and virtually doesn't know about. There's a couple of updates I've got that they don't know about that'll be coming out very soon if we get to a certain milestone tier. If we reach a certain milestone tier, YouTube stuff, there's new series, there's new challenges that are secret, and there's a very special thing as well that I'm very eager to talk about, but I can't because we haven't reached the milestone goal. So, if you wanna, you can toss that in. Also, if you have any suggestions for any other donation tiers that we can talk about, we can go ahead and go for that. And so, I think that's about everything for now. Again, we'll be back.
Before-
Go ahead, Fran.
Oh, sorry. Before you go on a break, as I'm not going to be participating, I wanted to appreciate you for the chances for me to play. I had a great time. And a little bit, as I'm not returning with Franklin again, I may have thrown hints here and there, but I had a secret with my character that Daisy and I. So this is technically the second time I play this character with Daisy, maybe third time. And I may have throw some hints about here and there, but I think you guys might not have noticed, and that's why I was trying to say. I didn't want to directly say this, that Franklin is blind. So that's why I never. So that's why I always try to say
That's fun.
sense or I either sense or try to work with the oral synthesites that he couldn't do anything beside with everything like that. I know that there was a lot of smoke, so that may have helped or not. But yeah, that's why he was I don't want to be a liability. I want to help or anything like that under pressure. So yeah.
Yeah, it's also important to note that as a ranger, that denotes that you are competent. You're good at your job. It doesn't matter what level of ability you have. You've gotten here because you can do these things. You have other ways that you worked around things. You work with mantra and you listen, you smoke, you smell stuff, you do whatever. But you're competent. You're a ranger.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I wanted to play around like that with a character that some people may have picked up, some people may not. But yeah, again, thank you so much for giving me the chance to play this character again. Yeah, go everyone now. Please donate for these charities, going everything for a good place. Yeah, thanks for having me. And now go back to the break. Sorry to keep you up.
No, not a problem. Not a problem.
All right, thank you.
So, Daisy, anything else you want to add before we officially go on break?
No, I think it's good. We can take our little brain break, bio break, and head on back and see what the round 2 is. I will be touching up back with Mochi and you, Anaru, about what is downtime stuff. But we can do that kind of off screen and touch on that afterwards, because Serpent's got some stress that may need to be reduced.
I have no. I'm in the hospital wing right now, so I need to figure that out.
You're back down to 0, but I've got something for you too. Just
oh yay, that sounds like
other
fun.
than that, we're good.
Oh yeah, knowing Daisy, that's
it's not bad. It's just another thing to choose, but yeah, I'm good. Let's take our bio break and see you all in a bit.
Yes. So
Bye, everyone.
again, we're gonna, as I transition over to here, I'm gonna switch this off because that's not a big deal. We're going to take a break. Like mentioned, in about 15 minutes, we'll be back because breaks are important. I would prefer if you stuck around in the stream, even though the music will play and everything like that. But I obviously understand if you have to pop out for any reason. Oh, this is big. That's why. Let me shrinkify this. Throw that up here. Perfect. So we will be back at 3:25 Eastern Standard Time, which is in about 15 minutes. If we want to be precise, it is 13 minutes from now. So stick around, chat with everybody. This is a perfect time as well for you guys to take a break. Come back, just keep the stream open. Reminder as always, if you haven't already, be sure to like the stream because that helps algorithmically. But feel free to be in the chat. I'm going to stick around in the chat. We'll be talking as well. If you are part of the next set that's coming on in, please pop on in. You know where to go. And we will talk to you guys in a moment. So I will transition from that to that. Thank you everyone for listening. And again, back in 15 minutes. Donations count. Go ahead and donate. In fact, let me add the QR code because that's very important. So let me pop that here. And we will, let's see, pop that over here. So just throw that here. Like there. Yeah, that works. Great. So until we pop back in, we will see you then.